So Donald Trump tends to fixate on things. Over the years, it's been showerheads, windmills, making Canada the 51st state, and apparently tariff is the most beautiful word in the world. His claim, not mine. But there's another fixation behind Trump's tariff fixation, and it's the trade deficit. The U.S. trade deficit is at the core of Trump's decision to impose sweeping tariffs on our friends and foes, upending the existing economic order. And yet I'm not convinced that he truly understands what a trade deficit is. 1 week ago, he took to Truth Social saying, quote, "We have massive financial deficits with China, the European Union, and many others. The only way this problem can be cured is with tariffs." Someday people will realize that tariffs for the United States of America are a very beautiful thing. See, he thinks they're really beautiful. Donald Trump's focus on trade deficits has bewildered economists. It appears the president might have a misunderstanding of what it means to have a trade deficit, because having one isn't necessarily a bad thing. A trade deficit is when a country is importing more goods and services than it is exporting, taking in more from foreign countries than it is putting out. Investopedia breaks it down further. Quote, "A trade deficit occurs when the value of a country's imports exceeds the value of its exports, with imports and exports referring to both physical goods and services." So yes, it's true. We have a trade deficit. It just means that foreign countries sell us more goods and services than we sell to them. The U.S. trade deficit was around $122 billion in February. That's according to the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis. Now, that seems like a huge number, but that's just because we have a strong demand for goods, which is a sign of a healthy economy, because it means Americans are buying things. In President Trump's mind, when the U.S. has a trade deficit with another country, America is being ripped off. His words, not mine. He said so in the past, but that's not the case. Even some of his most loyal supporters are breaking with him on this one. Republican Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky says the debate over tariffs is, quote, "backward and upside down." He went on CNBC a few days ago simplifying trade deficits by likening them to a purchase.
The fallacy is this, that somehow in a trade someone must lose, that somehow when you trade with someone there's a loser and someone's taking advantage of you and China's ripping you off or Japan's ripping you off. It's absolutely a fallacy. Every trade that occurs in the marketplace is mutually beneficial. Now, you could artificially do this accounting between countries and say, oh, trade deficit, look at this trade deficit. But I have a trade deficit with my grocery store.
I have a trade deficit with my grocery store. It's a really good point he made. He's right. Think of Mexico, Vietnam, or Bangladesh as the grocery store and the U.S. as the consumer. You go to the grocery store to buy orange juice. You pay for the orange juice. That's the trade. You didn't have to grow the orange. You didn't have to ship the orange. You just buy the orange juice. Now you have an abundance of the thing you need, orange juice, and the grocery store has some cash to continue to do its business. No one was ripped off in the transaction. It doesn't mean that you have a deficit with the grocery store. Trade deficits are not a sign of weakness. When the U.S. buys goods from other countries, then we have a ton of goods. And what we do with those goods, well, we sell them. What does that do? It strengthens our economy.